White text over video of Zoom event. ICANN Accessibility Shorts. Audio description for virtual events with Bridget Melton.
My name is Bridget Melton, and I'm an audio describer in the United States. Adding audio description to your virtual events allows inclusive access not only for your audience members who are blind or have low vision, but also adds a layer of interaction for your sighted audience. As a sighted and hearing person, I gravitate towards media that's been audio described because it allows me to consume media even when my sight is required elsewhere, such as when exercising or driving. Who doesn't want the option to take their favorite TV show on the go as a podcast? And adding audio description and captions makes for richer and more complete transcripts of an event. As we continue our shift from in-person to virtual events, here are 3 ways that you can provide audio description for your virtual events and how to support your service provider so that you get the best possible service for your audience. First up is simply tasking any presenters with providing their own audio descriptions as they speak. This works especially well for quote-unquote talking head programs. When a speaker is introduced, have them give a short sentence or 2 description of themselves and their environment if it supports the program. And if any visuals are used, make sure they describe them. This can include obvious visuals such as pictures, videos, or infographics, but also physicality such as hand gestures, verbalizing audience engagement, or technical issues. If your audience reacts to a visual, just take a moment to describe it. If your event has audience participation, make sure that any materials covered have been sent in advance, as well as having a moderator to help facilitate speaking order. And lastly, if a presenter or speaker has not been involved for a length of time, make sure that a quick name is said to reintroduce the voice. Moving on, if your event has been pre-recorded, or even parts of it pre-recorded, then pre-record your audio description. This will allow for higher quality audio descriptions as they have been scripted and the audio levels matched, and it also lessens the chance of tech snafus. While there are many different kinds of video editing and recording software out there, personally, I use Final Cut Pro. On the screen now, I have opened Final Cut Pro, showing my edits for a recent project. There are 3 basic steps to producing the descriptions. I first start with my original media on my timeline. Then I move through the video and leave markers where I think potential description might go. Next, I script out my descriptions by using captions placed at suitable pauses in the audio. As the final layer, I move through the captions, recording each one, adjusting the script and audio levels as I go. While this is the most time-intensive and costly way to deliver descriptions, again, it will result in a more polished and seamless experience for your audience. If a presentation is delivered using PowerPoint or Keynote, another method for recording audio description is to simply record narration for each slide or the slideshow itself using the record features already existing within the software. Both Microsoft and Apple support teams offer clear documentation on how to record. And lastly, to provide live descriptions, there are 2 general paths you can take. The most used platform for both is Zoom, which I have open now on the screen at the login page. You can have open descriptions, where everyone can hear it, and the describer is usually set up as a panelist. You can also do closed descriptions, either by having end users call into a separate Zoom meeting to hear the descriptions, which means you're now hosting 2 events instead of 1, or by using the language interpretation feature in your meeting. Here's a quick outline of how to set that up. First, in order to use the language interpretation feature, the host of the meeting must have a Zoom license, but the audio describer and participants do not. Then, before creating the meeting, the host should make sure that they have turned on the language interpretation feature in their account. On screen now, I have opened the Settings menu of Zoom, which you can reach by clicking on Settings in the main menu on the far left side of the page. Next, in the first column of options, under the Meeting heading, click on the In Meeting Advanced option. Then scroll down until you see the Language Interpretation setting and make sure it is toggled on. Once you turn it on, it will remain on until you turn it off. Later, when creating a meeting, enter in all of your criteria as usual, but make sure that at the bottom of the meeting setup page, shown here, you check the box for Enable Language Interpretation. During the meeting or event, any participants that wish to hear the closed audio description can then click on the interpretation icon at the bottom of the meeting screen and opt in. Shown here is the option second from the right a circle with latitude and longitude lines over it. Overall, the translator function works well because it allows anyone to listen without needing to declare themselves. It has closed descriptions to prevent possible overstimulation of other participants, and no extra logins or steps are needed for the participants. Some downsides to the translator function are that you have to declare a language being translated, such as French, as there is currently no write-in option or selection for audio description, which might be confusing to some participants. You are also limited to one describer, as two describers, even if on the same language, cannot hear each other and so cannot work in tandem. It is possible to deliver live audio description on other streaming platforms like YouTube Live. However, currently those do require back-end production teams to marry the audio description feed with the presentation feed, and they also only currently allow for open description, so Zoom is still my preferred platform. Back now in my living room, let's close up by discussing how you can support your service providers. When booking services, make sure to give as much lead time as possible and have an idea of the kind of description you're looking for. For example, extemporaneous or scripted, and how it will be delivered, such as live or pre-recorded. Other useful items in no particular order are a run of show or a script, all pre-recorded materials, even if providing the service live, as studying the materials makes for a better service. Preferred names, pronouns, and pronunciations for everyone that will be described. Especially if the event is heavy on visuals, as much as possible, make sure that the original material provides breadth for inline descriptions. Tech rehearsals, if anything is being delivered live. And lastly, advertise the services you are offering. Some audience members may decide to attend solely based on the service provided, so shout it from the rooftops and make sure that every time you advertise the event, you're also listing the access and the service providers. Show from the beginning that all are welcome. That does it for the basics of providing audio description for your virtual events and how to support your service provider. If you have any questions or follow-up, you can find me online at bridgetmelton.com.
White text on a black background. Audio description for virtual events with Bridget Melton. Presented by Illinois Cultural Accessibility Network as part of Accessibility in Virtual Events, a technical step-by-step. For workshop resources and more information, visit chicagoculturalaccess.org. Presenter and creator, Bridget Melton Audio Describer. Video accessibility by bridgetmelton.com.